We'd like to use this brief instructional video to introduce you to the fundamentals of making up a 1/8 inch pillar S300 end connection. The picture you're looking at is the JTS-AKA toolkit. This toolkit is actually designed to make up pillar S300 fittings from 1/8 inch in size all the way to 1 inch in size. As part of the toolkit, we have the JTS-AKA hand tool. We also have the tube holders ranging in 1/8 size to 3/4, and this toolkit is also able to do 1 inch by using the clamp on the end of the tube. You'll notice the rubber pads that will hold the 1 inch tube in place, so no special tube holder is needed. As part of this toolkit, we also have a set of wrenches for making up the different size end connections. And the key part of the toolkit is the sleeve holders. And again, we will focus on 1/8 inch for this purpose of this video. The last part of this toolkit is the SASB attachment, which is used to connect the sleeve holders 1/2 inch and smaller to the JTS-AKA hand tool. For 3/4 and 1 inch sizes, you will not need SASB attachment. So to set the tool up for 1/8 inch, we will first need to install the 1/8 inch tube holders. There are Allen head screws on the end of the clamp. You need to loosen those up. Select the 1/8 inch tube holders and insert the 2 halves of these clamps holders into the clamps. You will need an Allen wrench, which is not supplied in this kit, to finish attaching these tube holders to the clamps. With the 1/8 inch tube holders firmly in place, we can now set the tool up for the 1/8 inch sleeve holder. You will need the SASB attachment installed first into the tool. This SASB attachment has left hand or backwards thread engagement. Once the SASB attachment is in place, we will now insert our 1/8 inch sleeve holder. The 1/8 inch sleeve holder has right hand or normal thread engagement. On the end of this 1/8 inch sleeve holder, you will notice a plastic expander. What we do with this expander is open up the end of the tubing prior to inserting the sleeve. For making up an 1/8 inch fitting, you will now want to clamp the tubing into the tube. Prior to doing that, you will want to insert the sleeve onto the sleeve holder. Take your 1/8 inch sleeve, put it onto your sleeve holder. With the 1/8 inch sleeve holder sleeve in place, you can put the plastic expander on the end of the sleeve holder. You will also want to make sure to have the nut on the tubing prior to making this connection. When clamping the 1/8 inch tube into the tool, you will only want the minimum amount of tubing exposed needed to make up this connection. If you have too much tubing engaged into the tool, you run the risk of bending this tube. Typically, 1/4 inch of tubing is all that's needed to extend out from the clamp when making this connection. You now make the clamp, cinch it down, and you're ready to start. Now what we will do is run the sleeve holder with the expansion ring on the end of it into the end of the tubing. And our goal here is to simply open up the end of the tubing slightly to allow engagement of the sleeve into the tubing. You can run this back and forth until you see just a slight opening of the end of that tubing. With that done, you can back off and remove the tube expander and then engage the sleeve into the end of the tubing. Be sure not to put excessive force on the connection of the tubing to the shoulder of the sleeve. You will be complete when you're within 1/2 millimeter of that shoulder. When you're complete, you can open up the tool, open up the clamp, and you are now ready to engage the sleeve into the fitting body. Simply insert the tube into the end of the fitting, engage the nut, and tighten hand tight. You can also find detailed instructions on how to create these 1/8" fitting connections on our website, www.nipponpillar.com.